Okie pokey weirdos, I'm Rev, and if you're looking for a YouTube guru to tell you how you're doing everything wrong and how they can make everything better with their tutorials and their very pricey classes that you can take, I think you're in the wrong place. 'Cause I am in a Chewbacca onesie, and I am cleaning up a huge mess of shoes that I spilled all over the floor when I was making a video about my cosplay shoe collection. I am a cosplayer, a crafter, a maker, an artiste. Otherwise, if you have come to this video to hear about how I very simply explained being a YouTuber to my 90-year-old coworker, I think you're in the right place. So you can hang with me while I clean up a serious mess. And welcome to my world of cosplay shenaniganery. My coworker that I'm going to be talking about, I'll call him BB. He's probably 88, 89. He's very proud of it. I can't remember when exactly his birthday is, but he's very proud that he has lived such a long life. But he's also one of those old men that drive you crazy because he's a smart aleck and he thinks he's the funniest person in the room. And my initial experience with him was him telling me my name is stupid because I have a very unique name of the channel, Reverie. So he thought me and my friend who also had a unique name were stupid for having uncommon names. Slowly, as I got to know this man more, he learned that I wasn't afraid of him and I wasn't going to back down from his smart aleck and assholery. Eventually, he gained respect for me in me standing up for myself anytime that he tried to give me a hard time. And there came a day where I came to work and he could tell I wasn't looking as happy and peppy as I normally do. He asked me, "What's up, shortcake?" He always calls me shortcake because I'm only 5 feet tall. So when he asked, "What's up, shortcake?" I stuffed my hands in my pockets and went, And he was like, "Oh, what's wrong, sweetheart? What's going on?" This was only a couple of days after my external drive had died on me. I did make a video about it, I'll link it above. But because this external drive had died on me, I'd lost a whole bunch of footage that I'd been working on so hard. And I just learned that it would take $1,600, most likely. I was told that was the maximum estimate for the project of reviving all of this footage. And BB asked me, is it really worth $1,600 to get back all of that footage? And for me, it was a huge yes. So this came to me explaining to BB why. As a YouTuber, you need a certain number of watch hours to get monetized. I had hundreds of hours worth of footage on that drive, meaning that I would have been more likely to get more watch hours posting all of that over a certain amount of time. However, I cannot get to it on the fried drive. Spending that money will save me those hours upon hours of work, on top of the fact that I will be continuing to post videos and film content while saving up that money to get the original footage. My footage is also difficult to recreate because I am a cosplayer and maker, so almost all of my footage is hours of me putting together a costume, and once the costume's already made, it's kind of hard to recreate that footage. And BB's like, "Oh, okay, so that makes sense. You make costumes on YouTube. You're nothing like a lot of the other YouTubers that I see my grandkids watching." This man has 3 grandkids. One 13-year-old, and a 6-year-old, and a 7-year-old. The 13-year-old and 6 and 7-year-old have all tried to explain to him what it's like to be a YouTuber, but of course none of them actually know what that is because none of them are. I have been attempting to be a YouTuber for the past 4 years, so I've had a little more experience in that, and I could explain to BB how everything works in very simple terms of what I understand it to be. Therefore, you have your watch hours. You're supposed to get a certain number of watch hours over the course of 365 days, 1 year, to get monetized. You also have to get at least 1,000 subscribers. For me, that was easy enough because YouTube Shorts blew me up like crazy, and I reached 5,300 subscribers this morning of filming this video. So thank you to everyone who's subscribing. How did I get all these in this bin? I feel like I can't fit the last pair in there. Oh, there we go. Okay, I figured it out. And we're gonna put a lid on this and go downstairs and clean up the other mess. And continue the story. I explained to BB, once you get that certain number of watch hours, as well as at least 1,000 subscribers, then you can get monetized and start making money off of YouTube. He was still a bit confused on how that worked because his grandkids tried to explain it to him and made him extra confused. Therefore, I continued to explain. You make money off of YouTube with AdSense. And he'd heard that word before, but he didn't completely understand it. AdSense comes from having a certain number of ads on your video. The longer your video is, the more ads you can have, the more likely you're going to make money off of it. The longer the ads are watched, the better, the more money you can make. The more that the ads are interacted with, clicked on, viewed, watched all the way through, the more money you can make. That made a lot more sense to BB.
And how much you get paid per ad depends on the niche you are in on YouTube. However, BB didn't really understand the term of niche being used within this concept, so I changed it to the term genre. Because all content consumed has some form of a genre, whether that is fantasy, sci-fi, comedy, so on and so forth. I myself am within the arts and crafts area, niche, genre of YouTube. Very specifically, costume making. Although, if you are running a YouTube channel which is business related, something along the lines of explaining to people how to make money, or how to make YouTube videos, or how to run their business, then you're definitely going to make a lot more money on your ads because all businesses associated with business creation are going to have more disposable income to put towards putting out their information in the form of ads. Meaning that you could make up to almost $50 per ad within this kind of niche. Me being an artistic creator, the associated companies and ads that I would get do not have the same kind of disposable income that they could put towards their advertising.
And he asked me about Mr. Beast. However, he didn't know the name of the YouTuber. He just knew that his grandkids watch this guy a lot. And when he was describing that this guy pays people money to do things and he makes like live action Squid Game things, I was like, oh, that's Mr. Beast. Yeah, I know what that is. And I had to explain to him that that is a completely different niche of YouTube. There are different categories. And he said he'd never heard of the costume part of it because his grandkids only watch the Mr. Beast type of videos. And I told BB that I'm not the biggest fan of Mr. Beast style videos, largely because I am easily overstimulated. And those videos drown my brain. There's too much going on all at once, and I can't appreciate any kind of art that is going on in there. And BB agreed with me, but that's because he's old and he doesn't want to deal with the overstimulation because his brain doesn't work fast enough for it, which is what he told me. And he had no idea how his grandkids' brains kept up with everything that goes on in Mr. Beast style videos. When I was explaining to him my niche and how so many creators leave full-length 2-hour-long videos of them simply painting a painting or sculpting a pot or sewing a garment, he was like, oh yeah, I like that idea a lot better. Let's slow things down and be a little more chill about it and make things, be creative, and build a platform from being yourself instead of being all the things all at once. And he said, okay, so that makes sense. You're a costume maker on YouTube who has to get a certain number of hours, a certain number of subscribers, and once you have those subscribers and hours, you can start making money through having a number of commercials on your YouTube videos. But if you make costumes, do you sell the costumes? My answer was, yes, I do. Check out the Etsy shop and my website, linked below. I make some costumes specifically to sell. Others I make for me, and other times I take on commissions. This is another source of income, a separate income stream from what the AdSense will be once I get it, because I currently do not have enough watch hours. And BB went, oh, okay, so that's smart, that's smart. You're not keeping all your eggs in one basket. And I'm like, yeah, no, you can't do that these days. I work as a cashier. I make costumes myself and make YouTube videos. I do commissions. I feel like I have 4 part-time jobs. And BB went, okay, so if you do all that, is there anything else that you do for your income streams? Why, yes, I'm so glad you asked. So I told him I make videos for subscription services. And he went, oh, okay, so like Patreon. I have heard of Patreon. And I said, yes, I have Patreon. Although, a little aside from the story, I'm most likely going to migrate over to Ko-fi because Patreon keeps changing all of their services and setups and everything, and it's a bit frustrating. Also, Patreon's more expensive. They take a percentage away from your profits, while Ko-fi has a flat rate. So Ko-fi might be my main platform for subscription services from now on. We shall see how that goes. And BB went, okay, so you charge people to get extra special videos that aren't free on YouTube. And I told him yes, but also I make sewing patterns. I can sell those on Etsy, but also make Patreon or Ko-fi exclusive ones where you can only purchase them from those platforms. Some other content creators make stickers, blankets, all these other things. I personally don't have merch yet, but plenty of creators make merch. And then I explained to BB that we can also make sponsored content. And he went, oh yeah, I've kind of heard of that. All of these YouTubers talk about their videos being sponsored by somebody. So I told him, yes, that's how a lot of YouTubers get paid. Not just from AdSense, but from being a YouTuber in general and having a platform. Their platform allows them to help other companies make money, which those companies pay them to help them make money. And from there, it seemed like BB pretty much understood as much as we were going to get to that day, because we were standing around waiting for customers to show up on a Tuesday morning when nothing was going on, and we were standing there by our registers going, meh, what do we do? And these days, BB has even more respect for me because he has learned how much work I put into my content creation. I think of it more as me finding a way to be able to make costumes for a living without having to go to Hollywood or New York, because I really prefer to not live in a big city, but I still want to make costumes for a living. And that is how I helped my 90-year-old coworker understand how being a content creator works for me, and in general, a lot of other content creators. Most of us are not only working off of AdSense, we have our subscription services and our merch and other art form related things. Plenty of creators have to get a little more creative with how they're going to make money so that they have multiple income streams, because there's no way that AdSense is going to cover most people's rent, let alone their lifestyle. For me, as long as I'm getting paid to make costumes and make my art, I'm happy. And if you've made it all the way to the very end of this video, I greatly appreciate you being here. You can also support me with those subs, comms, thumbs, and a ding, along with supporting me on Patreon and Ko-fi. And if you want to continue vibing with an odd little cosplayer like me, welcome to the madness. This man has three grandkids.